Hi everyone, welcome back to part 52 of my TemTem playthrough. It's definitely been a couple of days since the last episode was uploaded, but I did actually play through this game and was finally able to complete it. So I'm pretty excited to go ahead and upload these videos. Now, first of all, I believe we had ended out in the sewers of Proper Town. I also believe I have all of my 6 team members who I'll be actually using to defeat the final boss. I think in the last episode we went around completing a couple of side quests, but in this episode I'm going to focus on moving forward with the storyline to see where Aina is. We are exploring Greenglen forest today, so I'm pretty excited for that. Now here is my current team. As you might have seen, other than Arcanite here, who is at level 56, the others are at level 85, which I think is pretty good. Greenglen Forest is actually a pretty huge area. I'll try to explore it as much as possible. Hopefully we get through at least halfway. I also want to apologize if you do actually hear a water sound in the background. It's actually rain. As it's heavily raining here, I'm unable to actually remove that sound from my voiceover. So I'm really sorry about that. Anyway, here we have our very first tamer. Since we are at the end of the game, most of these tamers are going to be pretty tough. As you can see here, this one is pretty tough as well. Cycrox and Tateru is level 88. Pretty tough. I'm also focusing on leveling up Arcanite as soon as possible. It is part digital and I think it's a pretty good team member. I definitely want to try and use it in my final battle. Hopefully I get some time to just go ahead and train it up offline. Anyway, that was a pretty good first battle. This is actually a dead end. I'm just trying to go ahead and go through here to get a couple of items. We do have a pretty cool NPC here who wants to actually battle us at this point. She was actually here for a picnic, which I think is pretty nice. Oh, alright, she has Nitrosil and Rolder. This reminds me, I definitely want to complete the Tempopedia. I think I've covered it pretty much. There are a couple of TemTems that are left to catch, or in this case I probably would have to breed them, but that's alright. I think it's pretty easy. The amount of TemTems are around 161. So it should be pretty easy to just go ahead and try to find all of them. As for the newer TemTems in this area, we do have a couple of them. I'm just gonna go ahead and defeat this tamer and then try to catch the 2 new TemTems you'll be able to find in this area. Pretty excited for that. Here we have a Scaravolt. I truly think the design for Scaravolt is cool, but unfortunately its traits are not. It does get a really good trait when it doesn't evolve, but now that it does, the trait is pretty bad. Wish that they had given it a better one. Its typing is also pretty cool considering that it's electric and fire, which I think counters a lot of different other types, so it's pretty helpful. At the end, we do have someone special. This is One-Eyed Mathiv's brother. He's called Two-Eyed Mathis. I'm sorry, Matthias. I think it's a pretty funny name. But either way, we do get a chance to battle him, which I think is pretty cool. I believe we have battled One-Eyed Mathiv before, back in the dojo in Lurchburg. Now this guy has a pretty difficult TemTem, Gulder. I actually really don't like it. I'm hoping none of the boss battles have Gulder in it. It's pretty annoying and reminds me of Muck in Pokemon. As for Rakesh, I think it will go down in the second turn here. I'm able to use Naga's Fury and Gulder actually survived. Alright. I might have to just heal up my TemTems after this, considering that most of these TemTems are way higher than mine. This Gulder itself was at level 90. Now this forest has a lot of different teamers and a lot of optional ones. If you're concerned about having too many teamers to battle, I would definitely recommend just moving on forward with the story and then coming back on a later stage to just train up your TemTems. Once we are at the end here, I believe we have a couple of items that I'll be able to pick up. I think it should be... Alright, never mind, I got a encounter in between. Or maybe I did actually pick up the items. Here is the very first TemTem that I'm gonna catch. It's Immortal. I believe this one is actually a pretty cool TemTem. It's probably part digital and part nature. I might be wrong, but I do feel like it's part digital at least. It's a pretty interesting TemTem to actually find in the last part of the game. I truly believe that there are a couple of these TemTems that are quite powerful, but you're only able to find them at the end, which makes them a bit more, I would say, rarer. This would actually help you if you are trying to get some more money. You can just catch these TemTems and put them in the trading center. People who are in the initial part of the game will just go ahead and buy these TemTems, so you'll be easily able to make some more pansans. I believe that is what it's called in this game. Here's the second TemTem that I'm trying to catch. Rokoblin. I believe this has a 3-stage evolution, and the final one will be part nature and part melee. It's pretty interesting. Another one that I really liked. I wish these TemTems were available before this area so that I could actually add them to my team, but now that we are almost at the end, I'm just gonna go ahead and use the ones I have already got. Plus I think my team is pretty powerful right now. The next teamer is right here. He seems to like to sing, but I'm really not interested in the song, so we are just gonna battle him. I think Greenglen Forest has a really cool design as well. If you might have seen, there are places where you'll be able to see just blue fire, which is actually pretty cool. Now this tamer has a Yowler. If you are actually planning to play this game from the beginning, I would definitely recommend having a spot for Yowler. It is a pretty powerful TemTem and only has one weakness. I believe it's for mental type. So if you want to have a pretty good coverage, this TemTem is it. Just go ahead and add one to your team. Now, Gallus is also another one that I would definitely recommend. It's part crystal and part melee and is quite powerful. I think it's also good against most of these boss battles that we are having. So I would recommend having it in your team. Right, I think we'll be able to take down Viplum. It also seems that Garunder is actually doing way more damage now, especially since it is at the same level as most of these TemTems. I think I have struggled a bit with it before, but I'm pretty happy that I was able to level it up. The only issue with Garunder I see is that it really doesn't have that good of a defense or special defense stats, which might be a bit of an issue. But other than that, we are able to do pretty well. Mauflank here is also a pretty good TemTem. I would say it's quite powerful and its typing is also pretty unique. It is neutral and part earth typing, which does give it a couple different advantages. Hopefully, now that I know a bit more about this game, I myself can choose better TemTems if I do choose to play this game again. Although the only thing that's stopping me from doing so is the dojo battles. Some of these dojo are quite challenging, considering that we have to go through all of these different puzzles. I believe dojo here in Aubrey were pretty easy, but the dojo back in Sipanku was irritating and really frustrating. I've never felt so angry at a game as much as I did when I played through the Sipanku dojo. Dr. Sasaya really knows her stuff. She has done a pretty good job of putting in different lasers and all of those other things. I also believe the dojo back in Nanga was infuriating. The plank jumping was just horrible and I was just losing it half the time. I think I went through those dojos just by pure luck. I'm glad that I was at least able to reach the dojo master before I lost my patience for those. Either way, I think it was a pretty fun time. Now sadly, I'm not doing so well in this battle. Let me quickly try switching out my team and see how this goes. Unfortunately, I completely forgot about healing up. And I have totally run out of bombs. So I definitely have to go ahead and buy some more. I believe Turok will go down for a nature type move. Hopefully. Thankfully, Saku did survive. This time though, we are able to take down Oshukai, which is good. And Turok as well. Alright. That was a bit tricky. It also seems that Arknight is learning a new move, which I'm just gonna go ahead and teach it. Arknight does get some really good moves, by the way. You do have to be a bit more careful, but I think it's really good. At the end, we get around 6 Tem card plus, which is very helpful. I did use my TemTem Fear, due to which all of my TemTems are now fully healed. But I wonder how far I can go without actually healing. Here's the next tamer. I'm still surprised that I'm at the entrance, even after like around 20 minutes of playing this game. Mushi is pretty interesting. I think I'll be able to take them down with just Arknight. Alright, maybe not. These ones are at level 60. I believe Mushi's evolution is also pretty tough. I guess it's part toxic and melee. Hopefully you'll be able to add this one to your team as well. I believe you'll be able to find its full evolution in one of these pathways. Now I did talk about 2 new TemTems which we have just got, but there's also one more that you'll be able to find in the north part of this pathway. Once we do actually reach there, I'm just gonna go ahead and quickly talk about it. Here is its evolution, Mashuk. I believe you'll be able to find Mashuk in Subas or Proper Town. So if you're planning on adding one to your team, that is a really good place to actually catch one. We are doing pretty well in this battle, but I think the only thing that's destroying me is the poison on Antan. I really wish poison status was not for 4 turns, which is annoying. To be honest, I have not actually used many items in this game. The only ones I have actually used are bombs and I believe tonics. As for the other items like Untrapper, never used them. I've also used the revives, the power revives and the full restores. Hopefully I do not have to use the other items, although I'm pretty sure they are quite helpful in a battle. At this point, sadly Saku does go down. I might have to be a bit more careful on what moves I might end up using. Considering that the boss battles are gonna have better AI, which means that they will have better movesets and would actually switch out their TemTems if they do see that there is a typing issue. So I might have to be a bit more careful on a couple of these ones. I would definitely say that TemTem is not a simple game. You definitely have to have strategies in order to win the battles. I would definitely say some of these battles like the one with General X, the final boss, and probably some of the Dojo Master battles or Arc Tamer battles that are gonna come up. They are gonna be pretty tough and you would have to have a strategy going in, or else you might end up losing even though you have a level 100 TemTem. In this case, it seems that we have a Mehmet. I would say Mehmet is pretty powerful. If you know how to actually use this TemTem to your advantage, you'll be able to do pretty well with it. Unfortunately, in this case, it actually inherited Antan, so it does have the same trait as Antan. Self-care is pretty dangerous. Hopefully, Rockfall will be able to take them down. Unfortunately, I switched in on the wrong TemTem. I would definitely suggest not choosing Nagais as your starter. Um, if you're gonna choose, try choosing Crystal. But if you are sure that you'll be able to find a crystal in Tukma, I would recommend choosing Shamiz. I think that one is way better than Nagais. Considering that the amount of times my TemTem just keeps on going down, its stats are pretty bad. Or else you might have to just breed in a really good Nagais. That would help as well. In any case, we have two more tamers here. They are actually blocking a small area. And this is where you'll be able to find Shamiz in the wild. You just have to be a bit more patient as it does have a low encounter rate. But you'll be able to find one of the starter TemTems here in this place. I think that is pretty interesting. Now these two tamers here have a Brock Rock, which is actually the evolution of the TemTem we just got. I think it looks pretty cute, but it definitely is pretty powerful as well. Thankfully it is part nature type, so I was able to take it down. Up next we have, its final evolution, Broccolem. Broccolem is pretty tough. I believe it has a really good moveset as well, although I do have to be a bit more careful. Decided to switch into Garundar. This will help me use its toxic type moves. Hopefully I'll be able to take it down pretty easily. Unfortunately I might have to just heal up Antan. Let's see how the Meteor Swarm goes. This is bad. Yep, Antan did go down. That's alright. I will just try using Garundar again. Just to level up my Arcanite, I went with the Tazbell. I'm thankful that Arcanite is actually leveling up pretty fast. It is at level 61 now. If you remember, we did start with level 56. I think I do have a chance of having Arcanite at level 70 by the end of exploring Greenglen Forest. Now that we have defeated them, let me move forward. We do have a couple of items in this small area here. The item should be around here. Alright, it seems that we have an encounter. Hopefully it is the newer TemTem. Yep, here it is. It's Gorong. I believe we have already encountered this TemTem before in a couple of dojos. But I think it's only melee type. I mean, if you're interested in its design, you can definitely go ahead and add this one to your team. I believe this is a single stage TemTem, so you do not have to worry about its evolution. Although I am really not sure how well it is against a couple of boss battles. In this case, I'm just trying to see if I can actually catch it. Unfortunately, it seems that I'm doing pretty bad. Hopefully, Arcanite will be able to survive another turn. There we go, that is perfect. Never mind, Arcanite actually did not survive it. It is at level 62, which is still pretty good. Switching into another TemTem, I'm just gonna try and catch this one. I do have Tem Card Plus. Unfortunately, it seems that Gorong definitely wants to give me some trouble. Let's gonna try that again. This time we are, never mind, not able to catch it. Yep, that is 4 Tem Card Plus right there. It's wasted. I do believe that TemTems in this game are pretty easy to catch. I've never had any issue even with the starter TemTems. So hopefully this one is not gonna just turn that around. No, it didn't. That is pretty good. I'm also not sure if there are any kind of legendary TemTems that are actually accessible. Maybe there is and I have no idea about that, but maybe there is not. Either way, moving forward, we are doing pretty well progress. Here we have another tamer. I'm hoping to just go ahead and move a bit more forward before ending out this episode. Hopefully I would have covered about half of this area. This tamer has a hit giant, so I definitely have to switch out my Arcanite. As for OB10, I'm just hoping that electric type moves will work out. I really wish Nagas was not 4 times weak to electric type, considering that most of the TemTems in this game are electric type or at least have that move. It's super annoying to see my starter struggle. In this case, I'm just gonna try and hope that it will survive. Unfortunately, it did not, which was pretty sad. At least Antan is able to use a turn. Right here I made a really bad mistake. I was supposed to switch into Garunder, but somehow I switched into Oshkai. Hopefully I will be able to manage the mistake. Right here is a new move called Fire Tornado, which I think looks super cool. I also loved its effects. I wonder if Antan will actually learn this move as well. OB10 goes down. As for Head Giant, it goes... never mind, it did not go down. I was hoping that it would, but I guess I'll take it down in the next turn. Using Rock Fall, there we go, was able to take down Head Giant. As for Tuwire, I might have to use a Crystal type move. Alright, using Wrenching Massage and Meteor Swarm. Unfortunately, it took down Ushkai. As you can see, most of these TemTems are pretty higher in level, which kind of is a bit of an issue. Considering that they can easily take down my TemTem, I do have to be a bit more careful. I was able to do a massive damage with Arcanite, but I did get hit as well. Thankfully, the trait on Arcanite is as such that it takes around only 25% damage when it's hit with a digital type move. Digi Protection is actually a pretty cool trait. If Arcanite get hit by a digital type move, 75% of its damage is removed, which is really cool. Moving forward, we have another tamer here. This one has a Inky. I also believe Ayohai is a pretty cool TemTem, although I'm not sure about its stats or its moveset. I think its design is pretty nice. Sadly, they did take down Arcanite, which means I might have to revive it pretty soon. I am trying to level it up. After all, Arcanite is at level 63 now. Usually, I do not like using a TemTem that is in a lower level, which I'm actually trying to train up in a battle. But unfortunately, I do not have the time to actually train it up offline. So hopefully we'll be able to just manage with this. Now I did switch into Oshukai. Hopefully this one will help. Alright, it seems that we are doing pretty well. Using Rockfall did massive damage on both of the TemTems. And I'll be able to take them both down. One more TemTem left, and this time it is a Babawa, which I think I'll be able to take down using Garunder or Saku. Both of those TemTems are pretty good. I did decide to switch into Garunder. I think that one will be pretty helpful. I'm actually not sure which moves are super effective against Babawa, but I'm guessing that electric type moves are pretty good. Probably poison or toxic type moves will help as well. Right, Crystal Bite is really not doing much, but yep, there we go. Toxic type moves are the way to go for Babawa. You know, this reminds me, if I do play this game again, I probably will just select TemTems that do not have any kind of 4 times weakness in them. That way I can avoid having to worry about those completely. Here we have our next tamer. We have a Shamiz and Saipat. Now you might have seen that the game abruptly cut into this battle. That's because in between I had accidentally hit the pause button and completely forgot that I was not recording the game. But here we are. This is the battle and I have really not missed anything else. Let me quickly try to take down Saipat. I do have to say Saipat is really good. I wish I had just switched out my starter with Saipad and just kept it instead of having my starter here. Garunder is able to do some good damage now, but for Amphitter I think I do have to be more careful. Amphitter is actually part, I believe, nature and electric. As far as its stats go, I don't think this TemTem is that good. I mean, there could be better TemTems like Genki and Gazuma. Yes, Gazuma is really good. If you're using it, don't switch it out. I would say Gazuma is way better than Garunder here as well. Either way, let me move on. We do have another dead end to explore. I think I'll actually explore it before I do end out this episode. Now, if you did actually go directly towards the east over there, you might have seen two tamers. That is actually the correct way to move on forward. But this dead end does have some really good items, so I'm just gonna go ahead and cover it. Here we have our next tamer with a Kinu. I believe Kinu is another amazing A tier TemTem. Definitely a TemTem to add to your team. Kernleaf is pretty good as well. If you do have it with a specific trait, I believe it's called settling or setting. I'm not really sure about the correct name, but that trait is really good for Kernleaf. So if you are able to find it, I believe you'll be able to get a free TemTem from the Dojo Master in Nanga. I believe it was Tihani. She does give you a TemTem for defeating her, which I think is really helpful. You can definitely go ahead and add that one to your team. In this case, I did struggle a bit. It's mainly because of its trait, but thankfully we are able to take it down. That is pretty good. I'll definitely have to go back and heal up my TemTem. Moving forward, we have, I think, around 3 more tamers, so let me defeat them. Here's another one. This one seems to be just enjoying her time in this forest. She does have nature TemTems, Saku and Taifu. Now Taifu here is a bit trickier. I don't think it's a really good TemTem, but it does get a really good trait. I wonder if this one actually has that trait. Let's see if it does. Using Warm Cuddle, I'm able to do pretty good damage. I also believe that Taifu has a really good defense stat, so if you want to have a bulky TemTem, it's definitely one to be added. Saku is pretty good as well. It's a tier A TemTem. You know what, one of these days I will definitely go ahead and make a video on what level of tier I would actually put each of these TemTems in. I think that would be pretty interesting. I truly believe that it's interesting to know what other people think as well. So if you do have a specific TemTem that you think is really good, let me know in the comment section, and I'm pretty interested in that, considering that most of the TemTems in this game could definitely be in the A tier list. Either way, after that battle, I definitely have to heal up. Let me quickly do that. I do have a couple of Bumplers that I just bought. Moving forward, we have another tamer here. Now, most of these tamers are optional. You can definitely avoid them. I think this battle could have been avoided as well. But since I'm trying to just level up Arcanite, I'm just gonna go ahead and battle all of them. Arcanite is definitely leveling up pretty fast. It is at level 64 now. Hopefully, I'll be able to level it up as soon as possible. Broccolum seems to be pretty powerful. We do have an Oshukan, but I think my whole strategy would be just taking them down in one hit. Hopefully Saku will be able to help me on that. Alright, using a toxic type move, Broccolum goes down, which is good. And as for Saku, I'm hoping I'll be able to take it down. I'm sorry, Oshukan. There we go. It goes down as well. Both of these were at level 88, which is pretty high. I'm hoping I don't have to go against more of these tougher battles. I also see that Arcanite is now able to hold its own and at least able to survive one turn, which is really good. Maybe in the next episode I'll just be able to use Arcanite and not switch it out. That way it will get more XP. Ooh, she has a Mushroom of level 100. I definitely have to switch into Saku. Hopefully the Tornado or whichever wind type move I do have will actually help. As for the other one, I'm just gonna go into Nagas, because why not? Using metal type move is pretty helpful as well. Nagas almost went down, which I think it will after the poison. But we did do pretty good damage with Saku, which is good. There goes down Nagas once more. I think I'm just going to switch into Garundar. Using Noxious Bomb. Yep, there we go. I did decide to just heal up Saku. And that was a good thing, or else it would have gone down. Noxious Hit does take it down. We get, I believe, a massive amount of experience after this. Never mind. We didn't. It surprises me how level 100 TemTems give me less experience than a level 81. But at this point, I really do not know how the experience mechanism works. So I'm just going to take what I get. But there we go. We are at the dead end. I think I'll just go ahead and end out this episode soon. We are halfway there. We do have these two. I mean, I could definitely just defeat them before ending out this episode, because why not? There are also optional tamers, but they do seem to be more interested in battling. Alright. They start with a Gold Z, which is quite intimidating. I definitely had to switch out my Arcanite. Going into Ushkai, hopefully the Rockfall will actually help. There we go. Right. Garundar I think will go down for the next turn. I do have to use a crystal type move on Golzi. Thankfully Golzi doesn't have that good of a defense, which actually makes it much easier to take down. With a crystal bite, Garundar goes down as well. Pretty good. Arcanite is at level 65, which is amazing. Up next, we have Zoben and Nagas. I definitely need a electric type TemTem. Bringing in Garundar. Hopefully, I will not have too much of an issue. I also decided to switch into Saku. Zoben is pretty tricky. It does get some pretty powerful moves. I would say it's a tier TemTem. Although I do have to say it's only a digital type TemTem when it comes to typing. Nagas goes down in one hit. But let's see about Zoben. Never mind, Nagas actually survived the first hit. As for the next turn, we are able to do some damage on Zoben. There we go. That was a pretty good battle. I believe I've done pretty good progress for this episode, so I'm just gonna go ahead and end it out here. In the next one, we are just gonna go ahead and move on forward to a small town. I think the town just has a couple of buildings, but we do know that's where Aina wanted us to meet her. Hopefully we'll be able to talk to her once and see what happens with the storyline as well. As for my TemTems, I think they are in pretty good level. We have leveled up my Arcanite quite a bit. It's at level 65 now. Hopefully I'll be able to level it up even more in the future. Alright, I hope you all enjoyed this episode. If you did, please put a like, and if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to my channel, as it really helps me a lot. If you'd like to support me more, check out the links down in my description for Patreon and Ko-fi. But I'll see you all in the next one.